back again with another review request, and this is for Fadi. He wanted me to talk about and review Men in Black, which is a great 90s movie. And yeah, this is, again, a great film. It's always great to go back and, revisit this film here. And the story real quick. So you have Will Smith in the film, who plays the character of, eventually K, and he's recruited as an agent in this top secret organization established to monitor and police alien activity on Earth, the Men in Black. You have Tommy Lee Jones in the film. He recruits, Will Smith, and they become involved in the plot, where they're trying to, stop this intergalactic terrorist, this bug, Edgar, in the film, who has taken over, the city, and he's wreaking havoc, and they have to stop him from basically, going out, like leaving. They try to stop him from leaving Earth, and that's kind of the plot here to the film. So I know I went off a little bit there in describing the plot, but who hasn't seen this movie? I think safe to say everybody has seen Men in Black. The film is directed by Barry Sonnenfield, who, directed the first two Addams Family movies. He also directed Get Shorty and the Men in Black sequels, which, Men in Black 2, I remember seeing that in the theater when it came out. I haven't seen the film in a while, but I remember not being too crazy about the film. I think it got a little bit too comedic. Men in Black 3, I thought, was an improvement. I thought that was a solid film, and I would like to, rewatch that film again. And so the cast here, of course, you have Tommy Lee Jones as K, does a great job. And, Tommy Lee Jones, can't do no wrong. No matter what type of film. But I love him anyway. I mean, The Fugitive, The Client, even Batman Forever I can watch. Volcano, which is a great movie. Double Jeopardy, that's a good one. The Hunted, definitely underrated. Tommy Lee Jones is one of my favorite actors. And this is definitely one of his best performances, and he plays it straight, and you also have Will Smith in the film, which, from what I understand, at first he didn't want to do this film. He just done, Independence Day, and he didn't want to do another film with aliens, but, this is Will Smith before Will Simp. Will Smith at this time had an energy that I thought really worked well with Tommy Lee Jones, playing it straight. And yeah, Will Smith around this time was, skyrocketing. A year later doing Enemy of the State, and, he would go on to do other movies, but they were the right, they were the right pairing. Together they worked well, and they had a very good chemistry. Linda, the character of Dr. Weaver in the movie, played by Linda Fiorentino, which, she didn't really go on to do much. I think she did this movie, then she did Dogma. She was in Dogma, and then she quit. She, again, didn't really go on to do much. I think now she's just retired. But, she's fine in the movie. I don't mind her in the film. I know some people are not really crazy about her character, but I didn't mind her. Vincent D'Onofrio as Edgar the Bug. Easily one of the best things of the film. He's a highlight of the movie. And the way that they establish his character, where, he's this farmer, and he's very abusive to his wife, which I know the wife in the film, I forgot her name, but she's been in some stuff. I mean, she was in Sonnenfield. I remember she was in that. But, Edgar in the movie, get your big butt back in the house. After the UFO crashes into his truck. And then, being taken over by this alien, this cockroach, where, just the sound of him being, taken out of his body. And then you have the cockroach that becomes Edgar, this Edgar suit. And Vincent D'Onofrio just disappears into this role. And he's terrifying as well as entertaining. And Vincent D'Onofrio, of course, he was in Full Metal Jacket. He was in Adventures in Babysitting. He was Thor. He's been in a lot of stuff. Daredevil. He played Kingpin in this Daredevil series, which now, he's the bad guy in everything. Jurassic World, where, he's very tan in that movie. But, here, Vincent D'Onofrio, this is easily one of his best roles. One of his best, performances playing this character, this alien, Edgar the Bug. And, the way that he would act and, just the way he would walk. And again, he just disappears into this character. And, at times he's terrifying and other times he's entertaining to watch. And to me, this is, out of all the three movies, this is the best villain. For me, it was hard to top this antagonist here, this villain. It was, Edgar the Bug is the best villain of all the other Men in Black movies. But you have other characters here. You have the character of Zed, played by Rip Torn. I thought he was a good support here. The character of Jeeves, played by Tony Shalhoub, who would go on to be in Monk. And that's another memorable character. And there's some other, nice appearances here. Like in the beginning of the movie, you have John Grease. And I'm like, hey, Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. He's the one that's driving the van. David Cross, he appears in here for a bit. Richard Hamilton, in the beginning, he's the partner to Kay. And that guy you've seen before. He was in Pale Rider. He was in, On Deadly Ground as Steven Seagal's buddy in the film that gets killed by John C. McGinley. Yeah. Richard Hamilton, you've seen before. He's been in a lot of stuff. And even there's, the guy in the movie that is killed by the cockroach, Carol Struckian. But he was Lurch in the Addams Family movies. So, again, you have a really good cast here. But, what really makes this film work is the dynamic and the, exchange between Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. And I really give credit to the script here, the script and the direction here. They really make the film because Tommy Lee Jones is playing it straight, which, from what I read, Tommy Lee Jones, wanted to add a little bit more comedy to his character, more humor, but the director's like, no, I want you to play it straight, because this is how it's going to work. Will Smith, he's the more younger, energetic character, and you're going to play it straight to his energy. And I thought that was the right call. The score by Danny Elfman is excellent, which you hear throughout the movie. And I just love the way that these characters are established. From Will Smith, which you see when his character is introduced, he's chasing this guy, that turns out to be an alien. And they have a little thing on the rooftop, where he falls off the ledge, the alien. And, from there, he meets, Tommy Lee Jones, and they kind of start a little conversation. And then they meet Jeeves. And then, he begins his training for the Men in Black. And, again, I really love the way that they establish characters here. From Tommy Lee Jones in the beginning to Will Smith, and at the same time, you're building up our villain, in the film, Edgar. And the special effects, still hold up. The practical effects was done by Rick Baker. But you also have a little bit of CG in there. And to me, I think it holds up well. It's a good little blend of, practical. And there's a lot of practical here. And a little bit of CGI. And, the suit of Edgar, I thought really looked well. Really good makeup. And, there's a lot of things here that people remember from the movie, like the neuralizer, which, every scene with that was fun. And then you get the Men in Black headquarters and all of these aliens that are working, inside the headquarters. And even before that, like some of the training that Will Smith goes through to becoming Jay. That was fun stuff. You know, we're looking for the best of the best of the best, sir, with honors. That was fun stuff. And, you know, the little, and I forgot what they were called, but the little aliens that had their own little room, and they're drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes. And then later on, you know, you got scenes, okay, you know, where he's giving Will Smith a weapon. You know, noisy cricket. I get this little midget cricket. That's fun stuff. But again, you know, I'm kind of like, you know, hitting the highlights here because everybody has seen this movie. And to me, what really works about the first Men in Black, you know, was the tone of the film where, you know, it was the right components of, you know, the direction and the writing where, you know, this is a sci-fi movie, but there's moments where it takes it serious. There's elements of comedy, like, you know, little sprinkles of comedy here and there, but it also takes it seriously. You know, there's like a serious tone, you know, throughout the movie. And it doesn't overdo the comedy, like the comedy doesn't overstay its welcome. Like, it's a great balance of, you know, the right tone of, you know, serious, like, things happening and little dashes of comedy, you know, to kind of balance it out. And I thought that really worked well here. And again, I think, you know, it's mostly due to, you know, Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith, who, again, they really make the film here. And they do a wonderful job in the film. And the direction by Barry Sonnenfield is excellent. And the script is tight. You know, Vincent D'Onofrio, to me, again, he steals the show here as Edgar. And he's a highlight of the movie, you know, from the makeup and, you know, the way that the character moves. And even the final showdown, you know, at the end of the film where, you know, they face off against Edgar. You know, they shoot down his ship. And, you know, the cockroach, you know, eats Tommy Lee Jones. And again, you know, this is a film that, I mean, I'm just giving away scenes here, but everybody has seen this movie. But the one thing that and I know that my friends up here, you know, often quote from the movie, is the little scene between, you know, Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith where they're sitting on the bench. And he's like, you know, a person is smart and people are, you know, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. And yeah, it's a, you know, a little simple scene. And to me, it's a great scene. You know, it's one of my favorite scenes of the movie that doesn't involve, you know, an alien or, you know, some kind of action sequence, or it's just a moment between two characters where, you know, they talk about, or, you know, Tommy Lee Jones is talking about, you know, we're not alone here and people are dangerous. And I thought that one, you know, just that one little scene there, you know, again, really worked well. And it's one of my favorite moments of the movie. And again, what more can you say about Men in Black? And I know you know, this is a film that I've seen many times over the years. And, you know, it's a great movie. And I know I'm kind of, you know, with this movie, I was kind of like describing and hitting the highlights. But, yeah, so it definitely, again, it's a great 90s sci-fi comedy. And if anybody is interested in supporting the channel, I will put the link to my Patreon in the description. And there's a couple of options. General support, which goes back into the channel, but if anybody wants to pledge to that, I will give you a shout out in my next video. And there's diehard members, you know, which is for crediting. If you want to be credited in videos such as movie reviews, movie related topics, and other content on the channel. So there's a couple of ways to support the channel. General support is non-credited, and diehard members is for crediting. So, but that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.